the Focusrite Vocaster, which has 2 XLR connections. And this device is really built for podcasters, for live streamers, for video creators. It's got a bunch of really cool features that I'm just super impressed by. Number one, the preamps have enough gain that you could use a mic like the SM7B or the RE20 from Electro-Voice, the most gain-hungry dynamic mics you can use, and you will find that you have more than enough gain. I believe it has at least 70 dB of gain. That's amazing. So you don't need an external gain booster. You don't need to spend on another product, and you don't need extra wires on your desk in your office or wherever you set up. So that's one thing. It's extremely light of weight. It's built from 51% recycled plastic. It's environmental friendly. But what's really nice about it is it feels sturdy, even though it's, very lightweight. It's easy to take with you on the road, and it's also, basically can be your everyday audio interface in your home, your office, studio. You can set the gain automatically, so it's great for people who are new to this creator life. You can set the gain automatically just by holding the button down. It's got mute buttons for both the host and the guest. It's got individual headphone amps and headphone jacks for both the host and the guest. So that's really cool. That's not something you see in your everyday audio interface. Even my MixPre 3 only has one headphone jack. So that's super cool. It's got great software that comes with it. You can do a lot of different things with that. And I'm just thinking of all the different things you can connect. You can connect the phone to take calls, or to play sound bites, or to share music. All that you can do either through a 3.5 millimeter connection to connect your phone directly wired, or you can connect your phone via Bluetooth. You have both of those options. You can also send, not only can you send your audio via USB to your computer, which is how also you power this device through USB, but you could instead send your audio directly into a camera if it's, your goal is to either record in the camera or to sync your audio and video in the camera and then send it to your computer by HDMI or USB. So that's an option you rarely see in any audio interface, let alone one that's aimed at everyday creators, including beginning creators. It's got 48 volts of phantom power. If you use condenser microphones, you can turn that on. It'll power your condenser microphones. And what's great is you can set it individually. So it's not like you turn on the phantom power and it's either on for both preamps or it's off for both preamps. You can set it so that you can use, one person can use a condenser, and let's say your host can use the condenser, your guest can use a dynamic mic, and that will work. You can set them individually. You also have, that's really nice, you have a power button with that. That is super cool, because the power button means you can turn it off without having to unplug it from your computer. So you don't have to take the USB plug out of your computer if you want to not have it on night and day continuously. A look there at the front of the Vocaster. You can see the individually controlled headphone amps for host and guest. You can see that it indicates if the Bluetooth is working. It indicates if you're connected via USB to your computer. The center knob is what you use to control gain. On the bottom row on the left and the far left and the far right are the mute buttons for each microphone. You also have settings that you can add for each of the preamps. That's that sort of light, bright thing that you see a lot of times with photo editing. It's like your one-click adjustment or whatever. Well, there's 4 different settings. You can set it to clean, warm, bright, or radio. And so it's a one shot and you see how it sounds, and if you like that filter, so to speak. Or you can use it with that processing turned off and just use it as is. And then the host and guest little chart like icon in the middle there, those are the ones you press on before you adjust the gain. And again, you hold down the gain to, you hold down that knob if you want to set the gain automatically. You hold down, you just keep your finger on that little chart icon at the bottom. And you can also see if the levels on the left and the right. So like if you mute your mic, it'll all turn red. But if your mic is turned on, you'll see green on whichever channels are turned on either the guest, the host, or both. And if anybody goes into peaking, gets too hot, their voice, their audio too loud to where it would get distorted, you'll see that above the little meter on the left and right side, there's a little additional indicator, and that will turn red to let you know you need to back off on the gain. There we go. Okay, so you can see the back of it. You've got the host and guest mics that you plug in, XLR cables. You have your phantom power, 48 volts. You have below that, you have your outputs left and right. So if you want to attach monitors, speakers, those are 1/4 inch plug-ins. You have your 3.5 millimeter phone plug-in there, so you can take calls, you can play music, sound bites, any type of audio, anything you want to bring in from your phone, you can do that. You can also, you see the Bluetooth icon next to that, you can do that. And then if you look towards the bottom left, you see on the far bottom left, there's the USB, and that will power it, and it will also send the audio from the Vocaster to your computer through that connection. And then to the right of that little USB port is the camera. So you can send with a 3.5 millimeter cable, you can send your audio into the camera directly, sync it up with the video, and then either record in the camera or send it on to your computer where you could record. But what it does is instead of recording using the camera's preamp, you bypass the preamp and you use the much better preamps here in the Vocaster, and then you see the power button. I think this is really cool. I can't say that I've spent enough time with it yet to give you a full opinion on the audio quality, but I think for Focusrite and for beginning to intermediate level podcasters, live streamers, video creators, this is a potentially big step forward because of the quality of the preamps, the amount of gain, and all the different features. It's lightweight, it's easy to use. I can't wait to dig in and test it out more and really see how the sound quality compares. I think for musicians, I would assume you would still go with one of the Scarlett audio interfaces because this doesn't have instrument attachments. But for spoken, I think this may become the preference over the Scarlett line for Focusrite products. Oh, there's also one that has just one XLR input. So that one's about $100 less if you don't plan on having a guest either in your home studio or taking it with you for multi-talent content creation. You only need one microphone preamp. That's an option as well. There may be a couple other features that one doesn't have, but it's basically the same product. And Focusrite is coming out with some microphones as well, dynamic microphones, both a handheld and a bigger studio style microphone to use with the Vocasters.